Welcome to AMP2TV Brooklyn Cafe. Hello, Florida. This is Steve-O from New York Sounds. I'm sitting here with two good friends of mine, Amit and Brandon from Soulflow DJs. They're also in the DJ community. I'm going to have them speak to you in a brief introduction. Not only do I know them as DJs, but we all know what's going on with unemployment right now, especially in South Florida. It's nuts. Coincidentally, I was scrolling through Facebook, came across a page that saying DJs helping DJs. Clicked on it and saw these two gentlemen with the kindness of their heart, with no charge, helping other DJs and self-employed and just anyone that was having a hard time getting approved with unemployment. A few clicks, and they got me approved within hours and received my money a day later. So, Amit, Brandon, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, sure.
I'm River Deep. It's my producer DJ name, and we're the co-owners of Soulflow DJs for the community. And go ahead and jump in with what we're gonna do.
So the unemployment stuff, basically. Yeah. So far we've had thousands of people we've helped so far with the unemployment. We're still helping people. We're just having a hard time getting back to everybody in time because it's like our inbox is just blowing up.
I can back that up because I've tried to call him, and I know him personally. So
now we got two phones, so it's like it's hard. But so far we every week, every day we learn something new. Like I said, like just on Friday announced that they're extending $600 a month weekly payments to December. So to help people. It's more along the lines now of just waiting because like. People are getting approved, eligible, and like we're waiting on back pay stuff. Back pay. Like I know people are getting it, people are still getting it. People have been messaging me, and I'm just like, just give it a minute, just for things to come in, just because they switched the system after Memorial Weekend to 2 weeks bi-weekly. So
Yeah, and to go off with how they've been switching the system, let me start off from the beginning of when it all came down in around March 17th when we all lost our jobs. I also originally applied back then. I guess at that time they weren't giving out self-employed people unemployment, and then the rules switched around like May-ish, right? I think it was May, and all that time, like I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I'm never gonna get unemployment. And for people out there that feel the same way, it's becoming easier, just more difficult on the computer end to get the unemployment. They're putting a lot of loopholes and weird questions and stuff in there, but at the same time, they're making it more available for everybody. So if you haven't gotten it and you feel like you do need it, you can get it. We're going to be doing more live streams and stuff, and we're here for you.
Yeah. What's your page on Facebook again?
Oh, yeah. So we've been live streaming on two pages for unemployment. One, and we do the Soulflow DJs page, and I have my nightly page I've been using because that's where everybody tunes in to view and stuff like that. We also have a YouTube page, which is Soulflow DJs for the community.
So DJs is spelled out DEEJAYS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, again, on a personal level, they've helped me. What would you say the biggest disconnect is in the system versus the real? I know what it was for me, but I'm just saying it's probably for everyone else. But what do you feel is the biggest disconnect on why people are getting not approved? And then what you guys do is so different.
It's just the little pieces in the system, when you get to a certain page where it asks you for like your employment history, people do two things. They either fill it out wrong, which is about less than I would say 20%, but most of them just skip it, hit next, and just skip it. So basically, they're not getting the right employment information, and to actually be like, oh, you're working or you did work or whatever, so it just goes ineligible or pending.
And to build off what you said, the reason why people skip it is because earlier on you put in your information for your work stuff, and then it asks you again for it. And it's confusing that you have to fill it in again. It doesn't look like you have to.
Yeah.
But you do.
But you do. You do.
You do. Sometimes you'll be putting the same information in 3-4 times in that whole application process. And that's what people like just basically, I'm not going to sit here and say anybody's lazy. But just taking the time to read the system and understand like what you need to actually do to get it going forward, because it's misleading. That's what the system was built misleading, basically.
Well, which leads right into the next question of how you got started even in this venture. You know, I mean, you never worked for unemployment,
No.
right? So it's like, how did you guys
Well,
even start?
Pretty much, you know, like with music with me, right? Because I used to play guitar and I was in bands. The whole time when I was in bands, we'd always look for a bass player. I ended up just being like, screw it. I picked up a bass, figured it out. And it's pretty much the way he did it. He couldn't get his unemployment. He researched it, figured it out.
Yeah, and he really did some deep working because, I mean, just to talk about I missed one bubble,
Yeah.
right?
One bubble.
I missed one bubble click that determined whether I was going to get money or not. And I wasn't getting money at all. And again, he found that error. And I went to him on a Monday, got approved instantly, and got my money on a Wednesday. So, you know, this is a hidden gem. Anyone out there that, again, like they just said, if you feel you can't get it, you're not. Listen, it's a whole new ball game. COVID put a whole new spin on how unemployment and how self-employed people are being treated. You know, DJs, we're considered self-employed, but we're also gig workers. Prior to COVID, we would never have gotten unemployment.
I can tell you a story about that. Like I said, we're cooped up in the house for 2 months, quarantined. You know, my girlfriend, she lost her job on her birthday. She got laid off on her March 20th.
It's horrible.
So, you know, but she got the unemployment right away. Like she filled it out. Like a few days later, boom, she read it. You know,
They felt bad for her.
Yeah. So she was W2. She already
Birthday
got
present.
it. And I'm sitting there filling it out. I'm like, ineligible, denied, pending. Like I was like sitting there. It was frustrating me, but I would spend hours just looking it up and reading about it and Googling this and like researching that and like understand how this works and what fits into this kind of thing. So on May 8th, I was on my way to Tennessee. This is before all of this. I needed to clear my head. I needed to get out of state. Like we're going to go visit my friend, see my nephew. I haven't seen. He's just born. And I'm in the car. It's like dark. My girlfriend's driving. I'm sitting there. So I came up with this idea to do a fundraiser for DJs, because the DJs in the community and like anywhere South Florida, so the whole state of Florida, weren't getting any help. Like I had people text me, like DJs, you know, they're living in their cars, stuff like that. You know, like it was hard. So that's why I came up with the whole idea of Soulful DJs initially. It was just something for a group of DJs to go live in and raise money for the DJs, stuff like that. And while I was in Tennessee is when I was sitting there on my downtime just trying to figure out this unemployment site until I figured it out. And I made one video, 20 minutes long, explaining it, and that's where it like really took off. So the goal we set was when I came back home the next day, we're gonna do his live, and that's what really like.
That's the video I saw.
Yeah, that's the video you saw. I really took it over the hill.
And I think it was after that one video that you guys just skyrocketed.
That was it the next day.
You know?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
People were calling you. I know I was calling you versus calling the state because I had a better chance of getting a hold of you. And he was kind enough to even get us over to his house and look over our stuff. And it's just been amazing. I mean, like he was just explaining, DJs, you know, we are our own community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're in the DJ community.
Especially in Florida.
You know, especially in Florida. I mean, we're in a big circle and we help each other with gigs and you know, we look out for each other. And unfortunately, we got hit hard. I mean, we went from, I know my company, we were doing 7 weddings a week, 1 week, and the very next week it was, I mean, it was just like an emergency break. It wasn't even like casually dropped. It was just like
it was
cut.
gone.
And it's been hard. It's been very hard. And yes, we heard some very unfortunate, you know, other DJs that, like he just said, living in cars and going back home and, you know, doing what they have to do to just survive. And right now, we're still in the midst of venues are opening slower in South Florida than they are.
Yeah,
anywhere else.
there's some DJs getting back to work, and the ones that I've communicated with, some are, you know, they're doing the month free, or they're doing super low prices of like $100 for the whole night. And I get it, like they're trying to get their foot in the door. They might be young DJs and stuff, but you know, it's a really big cut that puts everyone else in the rut.
Right.
But you know, to go back to like right after our first video that dropped, the one where we're doing my application, that's when we started getting buzz from the news and stuff. And then we got on, what was the news site again? The the first one.
News Channel 5?
News Channel 5, right?
Yeah.
The next day afterwards, the site shut down.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
The site shut down.
Yeah, it was like,
We couldn't do it. We couldn't help anyone else for the whole week.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting so much exposure right? You guys are getting so much exposure because, besides this show, we were just on the Brooklyn Cafe. They've been on Channel 5. You've been on NBC,
CBS 12.
CBS 12.
Oxford
I mean, so
2.3.
they're getting so much exposure. I'm wondering if someone from the state is going to reach out to you guys. And,
We're waiting.
You know?
We're waiting.
Yeah.
Because they
Kinda
definitely
scared, but
deserve
we're
some
waiting.
kind of recognition because you know what? We called from your house that day. We called the state, that 800 number. And we were on hold for 2 hours. And the person who helped us really didn't help us. That's,
Oh, you finally reached someone on the phone.
yeah.
For the,
We
for the
were
state.
live on your feed.
Yeah, we were. It's really
And
good.
Johnny Quest was there. Shout out to Johnny Quest. But we stayed on hold for almost 2 hours. And then the guy that got on the phone spoke to us, number one, like we worked there. And we know what he was talking like, well, all you got to do is such and such. Well, if it was that simple, we would have done it. We wouldn't have to call you. But he hung up without really doing anything for us. So, again, I'm very curious to know when this is all over, if someone's going to reach out to you guys and say, you know what, big shout out, some kind of recognition. Because I can speak for it, and I know there's a lot of people listening that can speak for it. You guys really helped out. And, the biggest thing is they did this out of the kindness of their heart. They're not charging. They're not, it's not for anything else but
Zero.
simply helping people out. And that's huge.
And yeah, the reason why we did that was because, like, one, we feel like it's morally wrong to just be like, hey, you need help getting money. Give us some money so we can help you get money. They're in the need right now.
No, you're 100%. But
yeah.
you know what? There's people out there that are like that.
And, too, like, we're getting our unemployment. I'm getting the SBA loan. We're pretty much getting money for not doing anything. At least this is the least we could do.
Right.
Like I have, I love my 3-year-old, but I can't be running around the house all day. I have to be doing something, like
Absolutely.
productive. So like this kind of keeps us in the loop.
Well, you really took on some project for wanting to just stay busy.
Yeah.
Let's switch on a little bit. So how long you been DJing?
Professionally, 5 years.
5 years. And you, Brandon?
Yeah, we actually started getting into the clubs around the same time. It was
So in the South
2014.
Florida area?
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in it. My family grew up in music. My whole family and production. My dad, and that's where I kind of get my ropes from. But I didn't take it seriously until my 20s. I'm 28 now. I didn't take it seriously till now.
Yeah,
and
you gotta play first.
I went to college. I wanted to do culinary. I was like, and then I was a GM for AutoZone for 6 years, about 4 or 6 years, and the music thing just kind of just took off. So I kind of just went that direction, and it hasn't failed me, until now. But I think everybody's in the same boat, so I can't really be like it's a failure.
Oh no, it's not failing anyone. I mean, it's just situation.
Yeah.
And what made you get into DJing? I
was originally a producer. So like I was always I was a guitar player, then the bass player, and then I was like, yo, let's not spend money in the studio. I'll record on my laptop, and then it got me into production. And so yeah, with production, I'm pretty proud of what I've done. I've gotten my stuff played by Diplo, Chainsmokers, the edits that I've done with Chisel down in Miami, a big international, travels around, and that all helped me get into DJing myself. And I DJ mostly in like Fort Lauderdale and Miami.
That's a proven. It's proven that you have passion for what you do. I mean, it always will succeed for you. I mean, me on a personal level. So I came from similar to what you guys all said, a family of musicians, but they were live musicians. My dad was a drummer. My uncle's a drummer. Beta. I went a different route. I went to DJing. They tried hard to get me into a drumming. I did it for a little bit, but that's it. But I've been through my jobs. I was a Starbucks DM. I was bank manager for 12 years. Yeah, bank manager. But my passion was music, and just like you, I hit a fork in the road where, okay, do I stay on banking, which we knew was going to fail because everything's going digital, and you guys see that, or go with my passion, roll the dice, and see where it takes me. Now, having 5 kids is a big jump. It was a very scary jump, but that's past tense, and now it's 6 years that I'm just relying on DJing, and like you just said, this is the first time that it's like, oh, what we.
It's like
You found out it was totally worth it.
It was
Totally
for
worth it.
everyone. Like even big international users are hurting, you know. And like I had to tell myself, you know, like when I went to Tennessee, like to clear my head a little bit, I had to tell myself, like, am I really gonna throw this away now to be doing something I don't want to do? Like there's nothing else I can see myself doing anymore. Like, you know, like this is where I was, and this is what I'm gonna continue doing. Like I'm not gonna give it up. Mm-hmm. The whole Facebook live streaming thing is killing me though. Those copyrights are like.
It's making it really hard to be a DJ right now.
It discourages me, you know. But I'd rather just get out there and decks, like, you know, like I'm playing. Luckily, I'm playing Benny's today at 5. Thank God. It was just kind of.
Benny's on the beach.
Yeah.
Well, here you'll see him right here live, 5 o'clock. Benny's on the beach in Lake Worth. Yeah. He'll be spinning over there at 5 o'clock. That's great, man. I love that place.
Be my buddy Alex Gregory.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, we go on live Facebook, guys. We don't get paid for it. You know, we're doing strictly just to sit there and keep you entertained, especially during the pandemic.
You know,
every DJ was going live.
I was talking to someone about it recently, and I believe we should be being paid to DJ these songs live. Because right now, all they have is a radio station. They don't have us in the clubs promoting their new songs.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, 1,000%. But just getting past the Facebook, just getting past the copyright situation is Facebook, Instagram, it's all the same thing. And it's hard to go live because after 6 or 7 songs, it's like they shut you down. You got to log back in and go again.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys, but I'm on SoundCloud. I do a lot of my mixing, and I got a lot of mixes on SoundCloud. New York Sounds, one word. SoundCloud, and it's different genres of music, and I do 60-minute mixes that you can grab off of there. So we're all in the same boat. We're waiting for venues to open. We're waiting for clubs to, you know, like again, Johnny Quest. He does a lot of stuff at Honey and Delray. He does Back to the 80s tonight, which is I'm there every Friday night that he has it. He has an artist from back in the 80s come out and they perform live. You know, right now it's just like it's like watching paint dry.
Yeah.
You know, getting things moving, but especially here in South Florida. You know, I was up in Tampa this past Saturday doing an event. You know, and it's almost as if it's a whole different world up there. It's like nothing, you know, very few masks. Venues are going. They're keeping it at 50, but venues are going. But down here, it's just like, you know, it's a whole different thing.
West Palm, we're stubborn. For sure. I could tell you that. I'm from West Palm, so.
Well, our numbers are not looking good either. That's a whole different conversation.
I've been more home. You know, I just miss the bass. Like the clubs, like the bass. I miss Banco's floor. I miss the loft, like Roxy's. Hearing that, like, you know, like.
What's some of your main places that you spin at?
Roxy's rooftop, the loft. I do Banco from time to time. It's been a minute. Pawn shop I've done like a few times. Camelot. So that's like like that's this area, you know, like Copper Blues too, like little stuff like that. The stuff I was doing before this started was like the Basement Miami and stuff like that. Wall, working with Pure Energy Entertainment, doing like mitzvahs and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of weird.
My main residency is at the Balcony in Fort Lauderdale. I mostly do like kind of one-time shows. I've done Revolutions. I've done America's Backyard. I've been on tour with a couple rappers, one of them being Joe Tiki. We went up to Tampa, Orlando, and New York for his shows. I've done another rap group called Gemini and Reckless, and we did a festival in Orlando called Girls in Wonderland. And that was an amazing festival. Pretty much an all-girl LGBTQ community party. And there's like 2,000 girls, and I'm like one of the few guys there. It was cool. It was
good night. Really nice. See, me being a little older, right, and I'm married with kids, I had to step out of the club scene. You know, I was doing clubs, especially up in New York and tunnels, the underground and stuff like that. In Florida, I've done very few clubs. I'm now doing private events.
Yeah.
I feel it's safer. A little bit more money.
Definitely.
You know, so I'm doing weddings and private events, but we do also shows. I was telling you, we went to Back in November, me and my cousin, we were in Atlantic City at Harris with Paulie D. Biz Marquis was up there, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And again, I hook up with Johnny when Johnny does the stuff down here in Delray. But other than that, weddings is it. So, if you want a good time, a night out at a club, these gentlemen just told you where they're at. If you're having a private party, a wedding, or anything else, I'm here for you, and so are they. But we're going to start wrapping this up. So I'm going to tell you, so to contact me, we're going to go around the table and give our contact information. Name of my company is New York Sounds DJ and Entertainment. My phone number is 561-503-6570. You can see my Facebook page at New York Sounds. You could also go to my website at nysoundsevents.com. Amit, where can they contact you?
All right, so we have a hotline for the unemployment. It's preferred text, so we can get back to you, but the phone number for that is it's 561-318-9912. So any unemployment questions or any tips or anything you need help with, just shoot a text there, and then we'll get back to you. And then besides that, we go live with our tutorials, weekly, daily most of the time, on the SoFlo DJs page and at the nightly page. And then
and there's still those videos are still up, right?
Yeah, give your DJ info as well.
These was like
Your DJ company.
I mean, same thing. You can reach me there,
Okay.
like the nightly page, or on Instagram at the Real Nightly.
So you can find me on all the platforms. REVER Deep, River Deep. It's a French word, so that's why it's not spelled with the I. But yeah, to build off our company just before we go, we do have a lot of people that are asking to pay us, so we tell them to go to our fundraiser. We're collecting money to give to other DJs or other people that are needing help right now that just can't get unemployment. And whoever bids the most money into the fundraiser, we're throwing them a free party.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
Make sure you donate if you want to dance. And
you can find the
have
link
fun.
in the SoFlo DJs page and the nightly page. The links are in there.
So, yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much. It was great talking to all of you. Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
We will see you soon. You'll hear from them, I'm sure. Steve-O, we'll talk to you soon.